Hey y'all, I'm here in the shop today for my Facebook Live for very good reason, because right after this Facebook Live, I'm teaching a Zoom cooking class. And if anyone had told me, it suggested that to me months ago, I would have said, that won't work. And guess what? It works. We've taught several of them and they are super duper fun. I think I have no audio, so let me fix that very quickly. I'll be right back. There we go. Okay, I'm back. All right. Hey, y'all. I'm excited that y'all are here. Okay, so I'm in the shop because I'll be teaching a Zoom class this evening. It's called 30 Minutes to Dinner, and we are doing a braised chicken with white beans. And when we teach 30 Minutes to Dinner in real life, this is another dish we teach in that class. So I thought I'd do this on Facebook Live. Here's the thing. I want you to come into our Zoom classes with us. Even if you don't have the ingredients, you can sit and watch and drink a glass of wine and get your plan together for another cooking session. You get the recipes, you get a recording of the Zoom, and you get a discount if you want to purchase the products. But we always give you alternatives to things you might have in your pantry. So even if you wanted to jump in tonight's Zoom class, you could jump in even if you're not cooking and watch and interact with us, and it is a blast. So I want to show you all. You can't see, well, let's do this. So I've got my iPad up here because that's our view of the food that we're cooking, and we go back and forth between the cameras. And then my computer is here, and then you can see everyone in the class, and people wave us down like, what are you doing? Like, slow down. And it's just super fun. So jump in that Zoom class. We have one tonight, we have one tomorrow night, and we have 4 next week, including one on Tuesday at noon. So depending on what time you're available, we have them both at lunchtime and in the evening. And we're doing some of our most popular classes via Zoom. Big Fat Greek cooking class. People are going crazy for that one. Curries, cocktails, and cookies. Big cheesy date night. What? All right. So that is what we're doing. We want you in those classes. Let's get started. Okay, here's what I've done before you guys got here. Onion and garlic with Harissa olive oil. So saute that until it's soft. I'll come back here. And I'm going to offload these and cool them off, because now I'm going to make what goes in the meatballs. So these are reminiscent of kofta, and they've got some ingredients in them that, well, one ingredient, I would say, actually two. It's a little polarizing, but I served these to my family and didn't mention what was in them, and everyone loved them. So I want you to hang in there with me, because we're going to talk about coconut and we're going to talk about cilantro, and it works really well. Okay, so we're going to make the filling for the meatballs. So these would traditionally be done with lamb. We're doing these with beef, but I've done these with ground chicken, ground turkey. Really, really good. So I've got in my food processor cashews. It is a cup of cashews, and I'm going to pulse these and get them finely ground. Okay, and this is what you're looking for. Move this guy out of the way. So pretty finely ground. And then what we do is pull, is that better? We pull a little bit of them out for garnish. So you would take some of these out. I've already done that. You take some of these out and you'll have those for garnish. So I've got a little bit of cilantro, a little bit of cashews for garnish. So then in with these cashews, I'm going to blitz together a entire bunch. I pulled out a little bit for garnish, but an entire bunch of cilantro. So that goes in there. And then we're going to pulse that together, and it's going to become pasty. And what this does is makes for this brilliant color in these meatballs. So now we've got this mixture. We've got sauteed onion and garlic. And then in the bowl is our ground meat. I've got toasted coconut. It's a half a cup of toasted coconut. And I had raw coconut that I toasted. It's an egg and an egg yolk. And then we're going to add the cashew cilantro mixture to the meat, and then some seasonings. So I'm going to go in with, let me get myself situated here. Let me get this out of the way. And I'm going to go in with this cilantro mixture and half of the onion garlic. So half of the onion garlic goes inside the meatballs. And then, and I'm pretty sure Cameron's in comments in case you guys have any questions. And he can also paste in the products that I'm using. Harissa olive oil, flavor explosion, just transforms things instantly. The spices that go in are a teaspoon of garam masala, and then 2 teaspoons of Madras Curry. Oh, we almost used all our Madras. Got to refill that. All right, Madras Curry, 2 teaspoons of salt. It's a full pound of meat. And then I've got to get this in here, all that goodness. So, and then I'm going to get my hands dirty and form these into meatballs. So I formed fairly small meatballs. I'll show you what tool I used, but I would say a good heaping, probably 2 tablespoons, but I got 26 meatballs out of this batch. So it's a lot. It's a large batch. But I used this guy to portion them. That's a good sound. So in I go with my hands. Again, all that cilantro, those cashews are going to give it texture and great moisture. We've got egg, we've got our spices, and the coconut is in there. And trust me, you get texture, but it's not like I'm eating a coconut meatball. So trust me on this one. Give it a shot. Okay, so I formed these into meatballs, and I'm going to step away and wash my hands. But I formed these into meatballs, and like I said, I got 26. And then what happens is, you get that all mixed up, because I want to show you guys. Oh, my camera's working again. So it's pretty bright green. It's got a good bit of herbiness to it. It smells amazing. That garam masala is just so much goodness in there, really delicious flavors. It's often referred to as Indian 5 spice or Indian 7 spice. Ours is, whoops, I'm back. Oh, hang on. Okay. Ours is nice balance of clove, cardamom, and cinnamon. Really, really beautiful spice blend. And then alongside the curry powder, just amazing. So after you form the meatballs, definitely refrigerate them. It is a fragile meatball. There is a lot of fat in here, and it benefits from refrigerating. So let me wash my hands, and then I'm going to come back and show you the next step. So all total, I'd say we're 10 minutes in. So I've got a little bit of a cheat because I chopped my onion and garlic before you guys got here, but still not a terribly long process. Okay, so I'm going to move this guy over and get in some more Harissa olive oil. And then in go my meatballs. Get some tongs. And what you want to happen is that, well, that sound, which is the best sound ever. So you want that sound to happen. And then you want to sear them on one side pretty significantly. You want to get some distinct browning. And what you don't want to do is do a lot of poking and prodding and moving. You just want them to do their thing. Let it caramelize, let it get brown, and let that bond build up. I also want to tell you what's been going on in this pan. So I toasted the coconut, pulled it out, didn't wash the pan. Sauteed the onions and garlic, pulled those out, didn't wash the pan. And now I'm in with my meatballs. So one pan, no need to wash in between, and you are definitely 30 minutes to dinner. So I'm going to let those brown pretty significantly, and then we're going to talk about the next things that go in, because the next things that go in are pantry staples. Here's what I forgot in the meat for the meatballs: 1/4 cup of coconut milk. And again, that's that part of them being pretty fragile. You want to make sure you refrigerate them. So the coconut milk is in the ones I've already made, but I'm going to add it to this bowl so we make sure we get it in there. So this is one of those 2-batch days where I cook one before you guys get here, and then we have another one to eat, and no one ever seems to complain. Okay, these smell amazing, and I want to see, you guys. So that's what we're looking for, that really distinct browning on one side, and even some sticking. You want that to happen. But we're going to turn them so that we get that brown side up, and then we're going to proceed with the other ingredients. And it's so, so simple. So get all of those turned over, and you just want to be in a big skillet, and you may be able to do them all at once, all 26 of them. But as long as you get them browned, crowding this pan isn't an issue. Okay, I've got those all turned over. Let me turn this down a little bit. And what I'm going in with is a can of crushed tomatoes. So a 14-ounce can. This is obviously, here I am, 28 ounces. We used half of it for the first batch. So your tomatoes go in. Come on now. That's amazing. And then coconut, the rest of that coconut milk goes in. So I've got coconut milk. Half a teaspoon of garam masala. So garam masala in the meatballs and in the sauce. In goes the garam masala. And we want about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then I tasted the ones I made earlier, and oddly enough for me, I wanted heat, and I'm going to talk about the chili pepper that I used. Here I am. Oh, thank you, Cameron. He just posted about the Harissa olive oil. Okay, I need another spatula. So now, let me come back to this. So now you just want to gently get this combined without breaking up the meatballs, because you want them to braise in this liquid, in this tomatoey coconut milk with all those spices. I smell cloves, I smell cinnamon, cardamom. Holy moly, so good. So you want these meatballs to just braise in this liquid with a lid on. And once you get the lid on and you have a simmer, you're about 15 minutes away with meatballs this size. So you're definitely sub 30 minutes. But that is just beautiful. And it's picked up all those cooked on bits. Holy cow. Here's what happens sometimes, and I see the guilty party right here. One or two of these meatballs break apart when they're braising because they are so delicate and so tender. I'm looking at the zoom camera. I'm right here. So they're so delicate, but it's kind of fun because then you get a broken one in there and it's becomes sort of a meat sauce. It's just a really, really nice dish that's super approachable because we all know how to make a meatball, but we've just taken it in a different direction. And so many pantry staples. And look what I forgot to put in. The magic. The rest of the onion and garlic goes in the sauce. So we'll get that stirred in. And we don't want to leave any of that behind. So I love talking about our Harissa olive oil because we get so many questions about Harissa. Harissa is interesting because Harissa is an ingredient, but it's also just a flavor profile. So Harissa paste would be a combination of probably aromatics like onion and garlic, might have some ginger and lemongrass, but those, what I call warm spices. So your cinnamon, clove, cardamom. So what's happening in Harissa oil is simply those spices get infused into an olive oil. So it's a great way to bring that Harissa flavor if you don't have any Harissa paste or perhaps aren't game for making it yourself. Harissa oil will get you to that flavor profile. So lid on, 15 minutes, and I'm going to go get the finished one. Okay. Let's see how we did. So you can serve, I've served this with rice, with couscous, with pasta for sure. But I've also just served it with a simple side of like roasted potatoes. Really, really delicious. But there are the meatballs and this beautiful sauce and those little specks that you might see, or a chili flake called Urfa biber. And Urfa biber is a Turkish chili that's got like a raisin quality to it and some, it's got okay heat going for it and a really lovely garnish on something like this. Definitely something you can put on the table. And hey, Alana, oh my gosh, miss you. Um, put that Urfa biber on the table like that, just like I just did. Do it just like that. But there it is, that dark, rich brick red raisin color in that Urfa biber, and absolutely delicious. So a great way to garnish it. Yay, I love Facebook Live. Okay, so I'm just going to serve this up with some naan, some flatbread on the side. So let me get a ladle or a spoon. So I'm going to do a couple of meatballs, and a few of these have, Alana loved that. A few of these have broken apart in here, which is fantastic. But I'm gonna get 3 of those in here and a little extra sauce. And then you want to make sure you garnish this with cashews and then cilantro. And I'll put it right next to my pile of Urfa biber. Look, it's just a food photo. It's just some food styling, you guys. You just do the jar in the product like that. And so just a few pieces of naan on the side. How fun is that? You get a knife. And that is a quick, simple supper that's anything but simple when it comes to flavor. This is super complex, really different, and also would be great to feed a crowd when we can be with a crowd. So, got my naan tucked right next to it. Let's see how that looks. But those are my spiced meatballs in a curried sauce and with cashews, coconut, and cilantro. And don't say you don't like it because you need to try it. It is not over the top coconut and it's not over the top cilantro. It is just all the things. Let's see how I did. Oh, and they're just super tender. They just break apart. Really, really nice. And I love, love, love the texture from the coconut. Come on. It's so good. Mm, I love that. Really, really, I like them small like that too. I don't know that I'd want a big one. I just love this. I could see this with, for sure, basmati rice. Really, really lovely with farro. But what a great quick braise that is so full of flavor and comes primarily from pantry ingredients. I'm taking another bite. Mm, so good, you guys. Okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to my website and you're going to join me for a Zoom class because they are so much fun. I never thought I would teach virtually, and we are absolutely loving it. We laugh so hard, we eat delicious food, and it's just been a blast. We have families who have family members all over the country, and they come together in Zoom in our classes. And so they get to see each other and they take a cooking class together. How adorable is that? We are absolutely loving what's going on with these classes. So please join us for a Zoom class. I love doing this with you all. I'll be back next week. I don't know what I'll spill next week, but I definitely will do that. So love you guys. It's always so much fun, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.